Hey everyone, this is Josh with Wright Piano TV. Today's episode is dedicated to Dave and Claudio. Hopefully I said that right. They both asked some questions about hand position. And this probably will be a pretty short video, but it's really important, and I would definitely recommend beginning students watching this. So if you know any beginning students, refer them to this video. The first thing about good hand position is you want a very solid structure to your technique. So with very first lesson students, I'll have them put their hands on their knees and then put it onto the keyboard like this. You want a healthy curve. You don't want it overly curved to where you're on your fingernails. You also don't want any of the joints flat like that. So you want a nice curve to it. And Another way I like to help students is have them slide their hands into the black keys just so their fingers are flat on the keys, and then just slowly pull your fingers back. This video is really pertaining to anyone of any level, in my opinion, because I actually am reworking some of my hand position right now. After about 10 years, I've noticed that my technique is good and I feel good about it, but at the same time it's not as solid as some of the people I'm competing against, and they just have such crisp technique, and it's really amazing. So I've been working on improving mine as well. So I think technique's a never-ending game, but have fun with it along the way, because I don't think anyone's ever a complete master. Maybe Argerich and Richter and those guys, I mean, they're the masters, but anyone of the common level, such as myself, is never really a master. So hopefully this can be of help today. What I like to think about is for different passages, you want different touches. So flat fingers are okay for certain passages, like when you're really spread out, like in a Ravel piece. That's from Ondine. Sometimes we don't want just a sharp finger, because that produces a different kind of sound. That one you want more of a wrist and elbow motion and soft fingers. But for like a little Mozart sonata, I haven't played that forever, so I won't really attempt to play much, but you can really benefit from having that very fingery approach. Same thing with the Winter Wind Etude. I know I demonstrate this a lot. We can be really curved. Another thing about hand position is make sure that you stay compact when you're trying to do fast passages. Like in Liszt's La Campanella, on those chromatic scales up and down, you don't want that really high fingers. You want to stay really compact and have almost no movement. Just those little tiny impulses firing in the ends of your fingers. So that kind of answers that question about, how do I have, what kind of hand position helps my speed? A lot of people have asked me that. So I've noticed just staying compact like that, and on passages that are tricky. So for instance, I'm working on the Grand Polonaise by Chopin right now, and that passage is pretty tricky. You have these going so fast. And see, I'm continuously working on this too. So, how do I avoid doing what I just did there? You need to make sure that you move horizontally and that you just land in the exact center of every key with a compact hand position. That's going to help you be quicker rather than going up and down so much. Trying to make that into one motion. Helps a lot. So just having that smooth, buttery, one motion kind of feel will help to be more graceful. I wanted to move on to another concept. This question was asked by Claudio from Switzerland. He asked about the proper thumb under technique. So, for example, if you have a scale here, how exactly do you cross under correctly? What's the correct hand position? I've actually seen a lot of teachers use a lot of different approaches to this. A lot of teachers will say rotate. And I've actually seen students be able to pull that off really well. I personally don't like that method. I mean, you always have to have just a little bit of turn, but not too much. I don't like exaggerated movements in the least bit because I think they're a huge waste of energy and time. So what I like to do, and I actually just got out of a lesson with a student. We were working on the last passages of the C-sharp minor Opus Posthumous Nocturne by Chopin. That part at the very end. She was asking about that really quick scale. How do we get that just to sound flowing? I like to personally pull my thumb under. So I like to go pull that under so that my hand really just, all that's going on is just a little bit of thumb movement. You'll have a little bit of turn in your hand, but mostly it's just staying straight the entire time, and you just kind of pull your thumb under. Don't do this for large skips because that can really put a lot of pressure on your thumb, which can develop into like a hand problem. But so make sure that your hands just kind of look like they're gliding up and down rather than. That makes it a lot harder to stay aligned as well. So just kind of slide that thumb under. Today's video hopefully has presented some different concepts about hand position. I know that hand position is really a very broad topic. Horowitz, for instance, if you ever watch The Art of Piano, great movie, goes through all the great pianists of the 20th century. And he has, I don't know if this is the Russian school of technique, I believe it is, but he goes up with high fingers and then he comes down on curved fingers. So it looks like he's just playing like this, but he actually comes down on curved fingers. And that's just another way of playing. I've noticed that with other Russian pianists. And then I noticed that this hopefully doesn't sound stereotypical, but I've noticed that a lot of Asians have really incredible technique and they have very compact hand positions. And so that's actually what I've been working on, because I've noticed myself getting really lenient with maybe playing from my top joint a little bit more like that rather than playing from my fingertips. And there's one pianist in particular that I really admire her technique a lot, that I've just been watching some videos on YouTube of her playing, and it's so compact and it's just precise and it's really clean. So there's a lot of different varieties of what you can do with technique, but I hope these concepts have given you some ideas to work with. If anybody has any questions, feel free to email me. My email is josh@joshwrightpiano.com, and if you would like me to do a video segment on any question you have, I'd be happy to do it. Thanks for joining me today.